I recently had the utmost pleasure of sitting down with one of my raw food chef idols, Matthew Kenney, very well known for his work at Pure Food and Wine, based out of New York, and also for his own culinary institute called 105 Degrees, based in Oklahoma. And Matthew has got several raw food gourmet books out at the moment and is launching lots of new products and projects this year, and I can't wait to share those with you. But more than anything, what grabs me about Matthew is his passion for what he does, his green conscious living, and his mind-body-spirit balance. And he gives you a lot of tips in these interviews about how to incorporate more plant-based, raw foods into your life for more increased energy and health and vitality. And he also shares with you his mission and what drives him and his new projects that are coming out this year. So I'm excited to share all this with you guys. Please enjoy this two-part series with Matthew. The first thing I'd love to ask you is what your mission is with all that you're doing. If you could kind of explain to people what you feel your mission is and how you're doing that.
Well, my mission's always changing, and not even nearly, but my mission changes with every project, because every time I do something, I learn a little more about cuisine or my own style of cuisine and how I want to present it to people. So in reality, it's always in transition. I mean, the last several years, if I were to sort of compile it into one mission, it would be to really broaden the appeal of plant-based cuisine. Although I don't prepare only plant-based cuisine. I've gone through periods where that's 100% of my focus, but it's not the only thing I do. But I do make an attempt to have plant-based cuisine be the star of any menu or any kind of concept that I do, and largely raw food, because I really think it's the highest form of art when it comes to food. I love those. I'm very passionate about those flavors and what they can do for us. So that's it. I don't have. I focus more on the chef side as opposed to trying to convey a philosophical message.
Gotcha. Well, and then how did you get on to the raw food journey? Did you? What made you kind of go more towards the plant-based program?
I'd been going more toward plant-based well before I was a vegetarian, just through my own preferences. For many years, I was eating more, plant-based foods and just craving vegetables and so forth. And I had even said to friends for years before that, I think one day I'll be a vegetarian. It didn't make any sense in the context of my career. But over the years, I was introduced to different people who were, successful on a vegetarian diet, and eventually a good friend who was on a raw food diet and introduced me to that. And it just really captured my attention as something that was very, with a lot of potential for health, but also as a career. And I decided to get experimental with it, and that was the beginning of this.
And did you find that your life completely changed when you started to eat this way? Or how did it change for you?
Well, it did. It did. I mean, it changed the type of people that I come in contact with, the kind of people that I worked with, how I felt about the food industry in general. Okay. I'd always been health conscious and health aware in general, but that really gave me a heightened sense of all of those things, and it continues to grow. And so it really brought a lot of great people and great things and health and interesting business projects into my life.
And you also have such a green sustainability focus as well in all that you do. So I'm sure that was driven by all of your plant-based things as well, is how it's benefiting the planet to eat more of a plant-based diet as well. That's what I found in my journey too, is a huge reason that I am gone more vegan, more raw too, is just because of the environmental impact of all of our meat, of our entire meat industry, and the degradation of the environment because of it. So I know that has in your entrepreneurial endeavors that you're very focused on sustainability as well.
Well, not on a macro scale, because there are a lot of really talented writers and activists and scientists and so forth who focus on that. But on a micro level, in terms of trying to make sure that the businesses I'm involved in work with local ingredients as much as possible, and to take measures to compost and eat, really try to operate our business in a sustainable way. That's definitely a big part of what I do.
with all of your various restaurants that you've created, and I know you've got some new things coming out, which I'd love to chat about too. What were your key signature dishes that people just loved, and why do you think that those took off the way they did?
I think things take off when they're new to people and innovative, but they also bring familiar flavors.
Okay.
So the first time I did raw lasagna, for example, it's completely different. There's no pasta, no cheese, no dairy, but it tastes familiar,
Right.
and it's helped. When we started experimenting with coconut wrappers to do like basil wrappers with macadamia puree and avocado, it's sort of familiar. We don't know exactly what it is. Or even a raw cheesecake, which tastes kind of like a frozen mousse or something. I think those things that are familiar yet new, there's just that kind of formula seems to really awaken people's palate and get them excited.
I get them so excited about the potential of this raw food cuisine. I love it. And then what are your future visions and goals? What are you building right now?
It's going to be a busy year.
Yeah.
Last year was busy with the opening of 105 Degrees, and I opened a Peruvian restaurant, not a raw restaurant, but a Peruvian restaurant in New York. We launched our agave, the organic raw agave, and a newest book was Everyday Raw Desserts. This year we have 2 books coming out: Everyday Raw Express and Raw Chocolate.
Nice.
And we're opening a unnamed restaurant in Santa Monica, which is sort of a farm-to-table Mediterranean concept.
Okay.
That should open in the spring. And we're opening a raw vegan restaurant in Greenwich, Connecticut in the spring also. That's going to be really exciting, really great little project. And we have some things coming out. I can't really talk about them exactly, but something technology-based for the iPhone and for the MacBook and so forth. That should be ready in March or January or February. And a few other things. We're looking at another project in Venice, California, and a couple of projects in Singapore, and we're looking at something in India, and maybe a half dozen other projects. They don't all come to fruition, but it's going to be a busy year.
Definitely. Wow. And so how long do these, like a book, for example, how long would that take you to write and get out into the world?
Well, the book takes quite a while. Once we sign a contract, we have several months before we have to turn the book in. It could be 6 months or 9 months. Sometimes it's a year.
Wow.
And during that time, we will work on the recipe development and testing, and then we'll do the photo shoot and turn it in, and then it goes through editorial process. So it can take over a year at times.
And then you have your 105 Degree Institute, which is the Culinary Institute. And so how many people do you guys have graduating this year?
I'm projecting about 120 graduates in 2011. And maybe a little more if we start adding an advanced pastry course, but it could be a little more, and we're considering expanding the concept overseas. But it's going great, and we have some really amazing people working with us and running the academy. So I'm very thankful for that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Matthew. I really appreciate your time and your energy and all that you're doing to promote a healthy lifestyle in the world. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.